Hey friends, so we have talked about apologies a lot on this channel, and it's because, well, they're important. When you have a conflict with someone, or when you hurt someone's feelings, apologizing is the right thing to do. It shows that person that you respect their feelings and value them, and not to mention, apologizing shows that you have the emotional maturity to do so. That's important too. There are some folks who will never ever apologize though, even when they are as wrong can be. And with that said, there are times when someone will wrong you and they will issue you a non-apology, aka they will say something that sounds like an apology-ish, but it really isn't. It's more an attempt to shift the blame elsewhere, in other words, to you, so that they can have less guilt about what they did. So what does a non-apology sound like? It might sound something like one of these 10 things. Number 1, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm leading with this one because it's the most heinous on this list. I hear it often, and the desire to yell out, "That's not an apology, it's a cop-out," is real. Saying this to someone is so incredibly dismissive of their feelings, and people who say this are not owning up to what they did. They are basically saying, "I don't care how this affected you," in a somewhat nicer way. Number 2, let's just forget it ever happened. Ah, yes, this one, because that's so easy to do, right? Somebody hand me the thing that the Men in Black have that just erases your mind, and we can end the video now. Insert like 300 eye roll emojis here. This one is not an apology at all, and actually it's kind of insulting. Listen, just because someone is done feeling guilty about what they did does not mean that they get to dictate when their victim is done feeling hurt. So this one's a no. Number 3, you're being too sensitive. Look, I know that sometimes when feelings are on high, we can, in fact, be too sensitive over small things. But so often, someone telling you that you are too sensitive is code for, I know I was a jerk, but I don't really want to own that, so instead, I'm going to turn it around and make it seem like it's your fault. I've said this before in many videos, but it's worth repeating. People who care about you also care about how they make you feel. And that means that if they hurt you, they care enough about you to apologize for real, too. Not just give you an excuse. Number 4, I already said I was sorry. I call this one the deja vu apology because yes, you've heard it before, and most of the time when someone says this, they are saying it out of some kind of annoyance that you aren't over it yet, or that you won't just let it go. To me, that kind of cheapens the apology altogether because it implies that there's nothing left to apologize for. And when someone has really, really hurt your feelings, again, they don't get to say what timeline you forgive them on, and they don't get to dismiss those hurt feelings because they're annoyed by them either. Thinking back on a time when someone said this to me over something they did that was really hurtful, it actually made me angry at the person for them effectively trying to rush me through my hurt feelings so that they could feel better about themselves. Really? And look, I'll say this, it's not a good thing to hang on to resentments, but healing happens on the person doing the healing's timeline, not someone else's, and the person who hurt you needs to respect that. Period. Number 5, let's just move on. This one is similar to number 2, and if you ask me, it's a number 2 way to handle yourself too. Just like you can't tell someone to just forget it happened, when you hurt someone's feelings, you can't tell them it's time to move on either if they are still processing those feelings. If this is what you want to say to someone, then honestly, it's better to just say you're sorry and leave it there, because saying things like this just makes it worse. Number 6, I don't know anyone else who would get upset over this. When I've heard this said, I get annoyed for the person who's receiving this excuse for an apology. People's feelings are all different, but they are also all valid. Again, if something hurts you, it hurts you. Gatekeeping what things people have the right to get upset about is kind of gross. So this one, just don't say this to people. It's super disrespectful. Number 7, I only said that because of the way you acted. This is one of the most aggravating faux apologies, isn't it? People who love to dodge personal accountability say this one all the time because it comes right out and pretty much says, I'm taking 0% of the responsibility for what I said or did that hurt you because you made me do it. This isn't even okay to do when you're 5 years old, so it certainly is not okay to do when you're a grown adult. Number 8, sorry, but what about what you did or said? Whataboutism is another one of those things that people do to distract and deflect from what they've done. This is probably one of the most backhanded apologies you can get. And yes, the intent is absolutely to make you confused, and then just maybe you'll forget about what the other person did and move on. Don't let people try to flip the script on you like this. Number 9, I will apologize if the bargaining apology is not an apology. Apologies are not quid pro quo situations, and they are not pay-to-play situations either. When you wrong someone, you apologize and that's it. They don't have to do anything in return other than forgive you if they want to. And number 10, okay, fine, I'm sorry, okay? Happy now? I don't need to tell you why this one isn't an apology, right? This sounds more like bullying than it does remorse. Hell, it sounds a little bit like a threat. And it's another one that isn't even acceptable for kids to do. So you definitely should not let adults slide with it either. So there you have it. If you're getting one of these 10 apologies from somebody, a little red flag should be going up that it's not acceptable. And if this is how you like to apologize to people, I hope you can really think about the message you're sending when you say things like this. That's all I've got for you this week. I'll be back next week with another priority message. Until then, take good care of yourselves. Bye.